Hey, welcome back. Back in the kitchen now with Chef Matt Winters, the executive chef of The Mark and Festival Foods. And we are talking all things seafood because 'tis the season to, if you can, splurge a little bit. You guys have brought in some amazing seafood, just really some wonderful stuff.
Oh, it is impressive.
So we're talking crab legs, we're talking those jumbo prawns, and we're talking lobster. Maybe you do, lobster for Christmas or New Year's Eve. Check out these lobster tails and give everybody a lesson on Lobster 101 because you've got two different types of lobster that you carry at Festival.
Yep, we have two different species. We have our cold water Maine tail and we have our warm water Australian tail.
So I never know which one to get, which one to go for.
It depends on what you want. The Australian has a little bit of a sweeter flavor to the tail meat. Mm-hmm. The Maine is nice and rich and meaty. I like to enhance that one a little bit. Usually use it as a stuffing or put the compound butters or different things like that with the Maine tail.
And these are just huge and beautiful. So if you're just a traditionalist and you just like the drawn butter, go for the Australian, the warm water.
Yep, go for the Australian.
And then if you want to stuff it and really dress it up, go for the Maine lobster.
Go for the Maine.
The cold water. All right, first we're going to make just a traditional drawn butter and just really give it some nice flavor. So take us through this recipe.
Well, start with your butter.
Okay, 1 stick of butter.
We're going to throw that in the pan and let it melt down.
Okay.
While that's melting, we're going to put about a tablespoon of garlic.
Okay.
And about the same of the scallions in there. We're just going to let that simmer right down with it.
So basically 3 ingredients.
That's it.
Butter, garlic, and scallions. And let that melt together. Watch it carefully. And I always like to serve it on the side with those butter warmers are really nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Warm butter is the best.
Yeah. You sell those. I saw them at the store the other day too.
We do. We have them right by the seafood.
Wonderful. So let that melt down and do its thing. Let's talk about, you get these home. What do you do with them? I call my husband. I say, Bob, deal with this, because it's you got to use you got to know what you're doing.
You got to know what you're doing, mm-hmm. But it's really not as hard as people think.
Okay.
So the first thing you want to do is flip him over.
Okay.
Put him on his back.
Okay.
Get a pair of shears, and there's some ribs. You can see right down the center. This is the opaque shell.
Okay.
And the ribs. You're going to want to snip them. Okay, it's going to come right back in here. They cut super easy.
So right on the side there.
Yep, you're going to come down this side, and then we're going to come down the other side as well.
And don't be afraid to ask the folks. I know it's a busy time of year, but Victor and the other guys at the meat market, they're willing to help.
Oh,
so.
These guys are all experts. They know exactly how everything gets done, and they're more than happy to help you.
So get rid of that center part. Now use your hands.
We're going to get in there. We're going to lift that meat right out of there. It just slides right out. And then he's going to stick a little right as you get to the tail. Mm-hmm. So just wiggle it a little bit, and out it comes.
Oh, that's easy. Now sometimes now you're going to put it on top?
Right. Now we're going to put it back up on top. We're going to take the tail and spread it out.
Okay.
And then we're going to break it. Once you hear that crack, that'll keep that tail fanned out for you so it looks pretty. If you don't crack it, the tail will shrink back in as you cook.
Okay, good
So we're going to keep it out here. So we're going to take a sharp knife. We're going to come right down the back.
And butterfly it just a little bit?
We're going to butterfly it out just a little. This helps it cook a little more evenly for you.
Cutting down, but don't cut all the way through, basically.
Right, and then we're going to trim some of this loose stuff just because it's not as pretty.
Okay.
And we want this to look really nice for our guests.
Absolutely. Or just date night.
Or date night.
So this goes on top then?
Lay that right back on top.
That's how they do it.
And then I usually will just take a couple little pieces of butter, put that on there, and pop it right in the oven. 15 to 20 minutes at 350 degrees, and you've got some of the best eating in the world.
Yum. And that's what you're going to use your drawn butter for, and just dunking. Now let's talk about stuffing a lobster. So we've got some stuffing that we're going to make, and then we're going to show you how to kind of pile that on the top there.
Correct.
So here's a big bowl. We've got our mushrooms.
What I like to use is the imitation crab.
Okay.
It's a little bit less expensive. I've already spent my budget over here.
Right.
So I'm going to go a little bit less on the stuffing.
I understand.
So we're going to take that, and this is a little bit sweeter too.
So we've got
better flavor.
The imitation, the chunk crab.
We're going to take some of that. We're going to put a few mushrooms in there. Just chop those up quick.
This butter smells amazing.
We just need a few. We're just going to come back and chunk them up kind of rough.
So this is just all about the seafood, some mushrooms, real simple.
Seafood.
I don't see any bread going into this
Nope,
stuffing.
there's no bread in this at all.
Yum.
We're going to take a little bit of fresh tarragon for some flavor. We're going to take a little bit of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to hold just a touch of that back to sprinkle on top. A little bit of lemon juice. That helps enhance. Maybe I'll pull that seed out. May not want to bite into that.
Nope, nope, that wouldn't be a good dinner party.
And then all you do is get in there, mix it up.
And I like the way you guys just, like a meatloaf, get in there with your hands.
And then once that shreds that crab meat,
okay,
it gives you a nice look. I like it a little bit coarse, like so.
You bet.
And then if I'm going to stuff it, what I would do is then I would flip it back over again.
Okay.
And I'll do just the reverse of if I'm presenting it on top. I'm going to put them in here. I'll take some of my stuffing, lay it right down the center.
Oven temperature for this, Chef?
Same thing, 350 degrees, give it an extra 5 to 10 minutes.
Now, you really believe in baking lobster rather than boiling it, or some people even put it in the microwave?
Well, it depends. Microwave I would not do.
Okay.
That just ruins it, makes it leathery and dries it out, and it's terrible.
Okay.
Boiling it is fine if I've got a live tail.
Okay.
Or, live tail, a live lobster.
Live lobster.
That I'll boil.
Got it.
Because they're nice and fresh, and that's just kind of fun to crack them and eat them. And,
sure, exactly.
That's awesome. But if I'm working with a tail, then I usually like to go in the oven, give it the dry heat. It brings more of the flavor out. It doesn't hide anything. Sometimes the boiling on a tail will wash the flavor and dilute it.
Yep, I totally agree with you.
Fun.
I agree with you. I bake my lobster too. You can brush it with some butter and some paprika to give it that color, if you want. So this goes into that preheated 350 degree oven. The same seafood stuffing recipe that we did earlier, you can do with shrimp. So if lobster's over your budget, because it is a little pricey. Although I saw some small tails that you guys are doing, and they're about $6. So you don't have it's whatever's your budget.
They're very economical. This doesn't feed one person.
Okay.
This is for the group.
All right,
good. You can feed 2 or 3 people. So, yeah, you might spend a little bit more on this, but if you figure I'm feeding 3 people, it's really not that as expensive per person.
And if you all want your own tail, you can get a smaller tail, obviously. But again, we've got these prawns that might be more in your budget, and 1 or 2 of those.
1 or 2 of these.
And you are
same scenario, and you're ready to go.
Yum.
Little parm on top for some color.
The last thing I wanted to talk about are these crab legs. A lot of people are into crab legs. How do you get those at the grocery store? How should you prepare those? Because those are already cooked, right? You just kind of need to warm them.
Right. These just need to be warmed up. They're fully cooked.
Okay.
And again, most people don't have the right equipment to boil it or steam it at home, so I would just throw it in the oven.
Okay.
If you have a roast pan, you can put some hot water in the bottom, cover it with foil. You'll get the steaming that way. And again, this will probably take you about 20, 30 minutes to get them hot all the way through. And then just get some crackers and
have at her.
Away you go.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great idea because it's like to get those into a big boiling pot. Oh, I love that idea. Yep. So water in the bottom of a big, shallow roasting pan, maybe some lemon in the bottom there, maybe even a little wine,
absolutely. Get the same pan you did your turkey in at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Do your crab in
then
for
you'll
Christmas.
Pull them all out at once. All right, so we want to show you. We got to wow you. We promised a wow factor. So here are these gorgeous stuffed shrimp. The prawns, I should say, and there you go. If you want to plate those up, I've got some tongs there for you. And then let me show you the stuffed lobster. Wowie. Or the baked lobster. This was just the baked warm water lobster that we just roasted in the oven. Look at that. Little drawn butter on the side. This is garlic butter, which smells amazing, and let me tell you, I'm a happy lady. Happy holidays, Matt.
Happy holidays to you.
When can I come to dinner?
How about tomorrow?
Sounds great. All the recipes are on our website, and let me tell you, why not make up some seafood this holiday season? It's nice sometimes to make it at home, and a little less expensive sometimes to make it at home, too.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.